Well, welcome back, the Friday Night Sports Show. It's great to be with you, and to tell you what, we've given him an opportunity to get that plane ride happening. He's right there with us. The Statman joins me. Hey, Statman, we're going to talk country football now, so I'm not going to let you jump on that plane until we've done that.
Seat 8C, I believe, whatever that is, on the QantasLink flight. So I've got a bit of time, but gee whiz, we'll be boarding shortly. We better be quick. There's a bit happening, I reckon, Flowman, in country footy at the moment. And we're talking mergers, get-togethers, associations perhaps folding. We've got in Victoria a situation where we've got clubs that are looking to play in other states because they're not happy about how many fans they can have. It is all happening.
It is. For the Lyrup Lions, they've been a club of 112 years. They've played in the Murray League and then more recently in the Riverland Independent Football League. And they are a COVID casualty, as it's been called these days. They unfortunately have said they can't get the players together for season 2021. And after not playing in 2020 in independent football, they have decided to wind things up at Lyrup. Is an end of an era for the Lions.
It's sad, but it's not going to be the last domino to fall, particularly maybe even in that competition. We'll see how Cobdogla go, where they were really battling in 2019. So, look, I don't know where this ends, where we end up. I guess we'll find out more as the next couple of seasons progress. But it's a tough ask. Lots of COVID things that you have to deal with as well in terms of extra volunteers and the like. So I'm sure that proud club will have some fond memories to sail off into the sunset with.
They will, or maybe along the Murray, where I was just up the road from Lyrup at Loxton, and they were chatting to me about this year, and the Wonka side are going around, Brownswell are going around again. It looks like the Ramco boys are already training. I was actually out at the Ramco site, not far from the Oval, and they are in and ready to go. So it's going to be a good season. We'll cover that off, of course, with the Beaver Venning this year. I want to go to another situation in country football. This is in Victoria and New South Wales. The reports this week, and political reports too, I might add, about this, it's reached the top corridors of politics in both New South Wales and Victoria, and that is that in New South Wales, 3,000 people can attend a game. In Victoria, 1,000 can. Wouldn't you host your finals if that continues to be the case in New South Wales, Jason?
Well, of course you would. And if you're a Victorian club near the border, like I believe Wangaratta are looking at the moment, why wouldn't you go across the border and play some extra games over there where you don't have to worry about, ticket numbers and all those sorts of things that go with that? So, look, this is something that the Victorian government really needs to look at. I know Cindy McLeish has been all over this. We've had a quote from her on the radio already this week. She's the deputy leader of the opposition. She's saying, look, let's organise some bubbles for these border communities when it comes to sports so that they can just have some sort of set rules for each competition, because, these clubs that are going across the border and backwards and forwards on a weekly basis, you don't want to confuse the issue for them. It's confusing enough as it is.
Yeah, and, you look at the situation where, say, Sunraysia football and netball, you've got Dareton just over the border. They could quite well host the Sunraysia Grand Final the way it is, and then it wouldn't be at Mildura's number 1 Oval, which is the traditional home of football in that region. You go down the river a bit further and suddenly you find that in Golden Rivers, go a bit further along and you've got Moama and the Piccola League, and then the Murray League, the same, where Deniliquin and so forth, Finley and so on are playing. And then further along, we see the situation with the big the Ovens and Murray, where you've got Albury and Wudinna and so on. It is a messy situation, but there's another messy situation in country football in South Australia, and we've been reporting on this for the last 3 weeks following your article about it, Jason. It looks like we've got a final resolution. I did speak to Ron Redford in my travels up at the Penong races last week, and quite clearly an application being made by Wudinna and the West Coast Hawks, the Streaky Bay region, to both of those clubs to leave Midwest football and play their football in what will be a renamed Far West competition to what is going to be called Western Eyre. Jason, your thoughts on the move of those two clubs?
Well, it means the end of Midwest football and netball, which I'm particularly sad about. I must say, though, we've got to move forward, and I know there's been talk about this for a long time, so I'm not surprised that it's happened. And I'm not talking about the merger here between Central, Eyre and Wudinna United either. I mean, this has been talked about the Hawks, and we're all joining that competition for a very long time on the West Coast. So this is not anything new in terms of rumour and innuendo. What's new is that it's actually happening. Interestingly enough, down the other end, Elliston and Western Districts. Now, we don't know if there's a merger, in inverted commas, happening. It might just be a joining of forces for this year. An application has been made, we know, for them to join Great Flinders football and netball. But there's obviously both sides still denying there's any merger happening. So what are they, just joining forces for the year? Are they going to try and survive on their own right in separate competitions next year when community football do what they want to do on the Eyre Peninsula? We don't know the answers to that. I reckon when I come back from Wudinna and the plane's about to board, I reckon when I come back from Wudinna, I'll have a bit better of an idea, Flo, man.
You certainly will. I was at Padthaway at another Lions this week. I send their best regards to the announcing team here at the Flow, including yourself. People love listening to the Friday night sports show, and footy season no different. We're looking forward to bringing that to you in a few weeks' time, just after Easter. We get cracking, and you get cracking for your plane, and I'll catch up with you when you get home.
I just got a guy who came up and asked me while you were chatting there, Flo, man, are you Billy Brownless? Yeah, Billy. On air at the moment, James Brayshaw. Cool. We'll catch up. We'll catch up on the plane, all right, mate? No worries. Thanks, Flo, man.
See you, mate.